Alright, so this is Hugo's story, chapter 2. Careful, ma'am, it's getting cold out there, says the bus driver to Yvette. Am I saying that right? I can't remember. Yvette? Yvette? Avit? As she nods slightly, little white particles of snow land in her hair as she shuffles from the bus stop to the corner of the street. She stops in front of a tall black lamppost. Yvette. Okay. She stops in front of a tall black lamppost. Paint on the lamppost still holds a polished sheen. Two masts on each side of the post, bolted perpendicular to the main post, hold two halves of a flag. Black light post bisects a peach and purple silhouette of a horse pulled buggy with the words "Ye Old Shopping Center, Old Town Street" emblazoned on them. Further up, post's glass enclosure protects an institutional LED light. Yvette tilts her head at the light post before continuing down the sidewalk, which turns from gray concrete into recently salmon-painted faux cobblestone. Stores she finds flanking the streets all have a facade styled in the semblance of shops commemorating an indiscernible century. Music store first intercepts her path. Through the stone shop window, she sees several instruments propped up next to their respective prices. There, amongst the tools musicians use to craft and mold their sounds, she sees a carton of boxed harmonicas. Special this week only, reads a sign next to them. Wait, we've read this! I've read this! We've read chapter 2. We have to be on chapter 3. I thought she was getting off of the bus after she had gone to the harmonica shop. Because she already bought the harmonicas. Oh! Okay. Special this week only, reads the sign next to them in bold marketed letters. Harmonicas, 2 for $12. Vet looks at the paper bag she still carries, scowling at the harmonica as it shelters, and then inhales a noseful of winter air and swallows whatever spit had accumulated in her mouth. She decides to press forward and look somewhere else to deposit a resume copy with the thought, music just isn't for me. Small Christmas bell tied above the entrance announces Yvette's entrance into Threads, Things, and Thrifts. Store's humble warmth hugs Yvette as she swipes away the snow on her shoulders, and a subtle smell of worn-in but clean clothes welcome her. Porcelain, collectibles, and the occasional electric device line the shop's walls, while racks of clothing organized in a way that engages customers to hunt for anything of use on the main floor. "Maybelle, is that you?" asks a feeble voice hidden amongst the racks of clothes. "Oh, I'm not Mabel, sorry." "My apologies, young lady," says an elderly woman as she adjusts the corner of her spectacles up and down on the side of her head. "My Mabel has the prettiest blonde hair like yours, but longer. Can I help you find anything, dearie?" Yvette, holding the brown paper bag at one side, reaches for the seam of her shirt with a free hand and says, I was actually looking for a job, just in case you're hiring, or maybe you need an extra hand." "Sorry, dearie, but we're not really hiring, but if you give me your name and number, I'll keep you in mind if anything comes up." I can, give you a resume, has everything on it." Yvette fumbles in her folder, trying to pull out a copy. The small pink Bible flaps out of the paper bag onto the wood panel lining ground. "I'm sorry, I got it," says Yvette as she quickly picks up the book. "Oh my," says the elderly shop lady. "What a pretty Bible. You want it?" "I don't need it. Have one my parents gave me at home." "Are you sure, dear?" "I don't want to impose." "Yes, keep it," says Yvette, handing over the small pink. I'm guessing that's just a typo. Small pink pocket Bible, as well as a copy of her resume. Vet shakes the lady's hand, taking care not to squeeze the soft skin too firmly, and turns to leave. Here. She hears as she feels the soft warmth drop onto her shoulders. Take it. Vet inspects the multicolored woven cape that now drapes over her shoulders. Yarn threads tied into tassels line the edge of the cape. Ma'am, I'm sorry, I can't afford. I ain't selling it to you, I'm giving it to you. Don't want you catching a cold looking for a job. Besides, you paid for it with this pretty book. I can't. I don't know what to say. Yes, you can, and just thank you. Oh, thank you so much. So much. With a quick adjustment of her glasses, the old lady disappears into the racks of clothes once again, intent on arranging the hangers of clothing in some arbitrary fashion. Vet rubs the softness of the cape with her cheek, and pulls it tight around her with a quick sniffle and a tear that promptly gets absorbed into her sleeve. Vet makes her way to the shop's exit. She takes one more glance at the shop before opening the door and stepping through. Even the smallest kindness is such a great thing to her because of the situation she's in, right? And she's probably used to things like that coming with some sort of stipulants, you know? Like something hanging over your head. Oh, you did this now, so now I own you. It's like, no, it was free, it was a gift. No, it wasn't a gift. What are you talking about, right? She steps out of the shop. The buildings hold away the sharp winter breeze that pesters Yvette despite her best effort to wear a jacket. The mid-afternoon light shines the painterly colors from the shops around Yvette. Each uniquely painted and decorated shop somehow unifies with all the others in their commitment towards emulating an idealized past. Yvette's boots tapped on the sidewalk as she walked along, swaying back and forth, pulling her newly acquired cape tight over her jacket, and humming along. The bakery next door had a rich vanilla smell with a mustachioed baker that took Yvette's resume, pledging not to forget which drawer he placed it in. Soft, moist chocolate of the sample cookie he gifted Yvette danced on her palate as she left his shop. Once again traversing the cobble-impressed sidewalk, she let out small whimpers. The sun drenched her with light. With a gentle hum, her phone vibrates in her pocket. She pulls it out and sees a message waiting to be opened, with the name Roxy displayed on as the sender. Yvette's eyes shift from side to side as she caresses the remnants of her arm's bruise. She shoves the phone back into her pocket and shuffles on, squeezing the increasingly crumpled paper bag. She glares at the ground, simply putting one foot in front of the other. She could be so nice when she wanted to be, thinks Yvette, though a faint waft of jasmine pulls her gaze toward the current shop at her side. Not a fan of the vocals. I just noticed that shit had vocals on it. Fuck that! Super annoying. There, in the windowed display, lay a red bagged vodka bound in crimson faux leather. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing some very expensive brand name bag? Embossed with gold lettering propped up on a black book holder. Adjacent to it, in its own book holder, lays a black-bound Quran, also embossed with gold lettering and stylized in flares. That stands there, in her gifted, multicolored, soft-woven cape, examining every facet possible through the store's glass. Bhagavad Gita is the holy book for Hindu. Oh! Okay. I didn't know that. That stands there in her gifted, multicolored, soft-woven cape, examining every facet possible through the store's glass. She takes a step back and absorbs the white-painted brick of the shop, with its checkered, patterned cloth overhang guarding two tables on either side of the shop's wooden and glass-paneled door. Though she had navigated around the tables to approach the display behind them, she saw them for the first time. With a quick lick and a soft bite of her bottom lip, Yvette marches to the door, taking time to admire the old English lettering that read, "Ye Old Occult Tea Shop." Door brushes a brass coil spring from which a small bell hangs. The jingle announces to the warm, empty shop that Yvette entered the tea house. The smell of honey-laced jasmine and the aroma of sage tickled Yvette's nose as she inspects the shop's layout. A glass counter to the left of the door welcomes Yvette first. A cash register to its side with a few wooden items protected within. On top of the counter, accessible to those patrons who visited to transact for them, lay a box of plastic death whistle replicas and a bamboo pencil holder. Me over-describing things again. Yeah, only describe them if they're important. But the one thing you can do with that, Hugo, is use them as moments of distraction. Make it so that the character pays attention to the small details on things to get out of her own mind. And then use that as a character trait to mask your over-explanations. And then use that as a style to bring out the character's depth. And then use that in like times when I'm guessing they're gonna have times when they're being beaten and shit like that. And have them like a 5.5 paragraph description of a single tile on the floor. And it's just like her way of breaking out of the moment and distracting herself is her ability to pay attention to the most minute details on things and like draw a story from that. I think that would be an amazing way to use that as like turning your weakness into your strength. Like that's what I try to find with things that I do is like I know that I do this too much, but instead of moving away from it, lean into it and use that as a part of my style. But as long as it's like important to the character in some way, that's all that matters, right? Other than you just trying to build an in-depth image and trying to fill in those small gaps instead of letting the reader do it themselves, right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's all about execution and purpose. On top of the counter, accessible to those patrons who wish to transact for them, lay a box of plastic death whistle replicas and bamboo pencil holders with the same pride flags sprouting as Yvette had encountered in the Cross's Christian store. 2 rows of tables, each with 3 tables, sit in the main floor. 4 black wire-framed chairs surround each table. Yvette's books scarcely make any sound on wood floor panels as she wanders around. Boots. Jesus. Scarcely make any sound on wood floor panels as she wanders around the store. Glass cases hide the right wall and contain exotic artifacts. Angled shelves holding differing religious items led to the white plaster right wall. Yvette moves through the shop's thin atmosphere, inspecting the plastic items. She picks up a miniature plastic Buddha with her middle finger and thumb. Plastic mold seems denoting the mass-produced quality of the item. Holding it close to her nose, she caresses the top of its head with her index finger before dropping it back in its place. Walking away from the shelves and slowly spinning, admiring the shop's hanging facsimiles of plants from their ceiling, Yvette whispers aloud, "I can't believe this place has been here all this time." Seeing new copies of the Hermetica on the end cap, she picks it up and sees the price. She looks away from the book, towards the floor, placing the book back on the shelf and walking to a table. The chair releases a metallic creak as Yvette drags it back and plops into it. She takes a deep breath, closing her eyes and tilting her head towards the ceiling, clutching her resume folder and that paper bag she still carries. Fragrance of the shop fails to allay her reddening eyes. The door brushes a brass coil spring from which a small bell hangs. Jingle announces to the warm, empty shop that Yvette entered the tea house. Wait, is this repetitive? Yeah, this is somehow this is a duplicate. Unless I fucked something up. Yeah. There. Always good to find those just in case. Like, my freaking, I have a draft where I'm taking all the stuff from the first and rewriting it and pasting it here. Yeah, like my problem is what I'll do, well, what I'm doing now for like different voiceovers and stuff like that is like separating everything out. So I'll have like all of one character's dialogue, all of another character's dialogue, all of the prose, all separated, so I can read them all with different voices and stay consistent. Oh. But it does get way hectic in editing. So we'll see if I continue to do that or not. Yvette opened her eyes and slowly turns her head towards the rattle of beads from the far end of the store. No one's ever here, Jacob. Why does it matter if I'm at the door at the front or not? Asked a girl emerging from the room that used the hanging beads as a door. Oh, wait, continues the long black-haired girl with a sigh as she notices Yvette. She walks toward Yvette's table, conjuring a small notebook and pen from a pocket of her black Victorian-style coat. Waitress's tall boots tap deeply into the shop's wood as she stomps towards Yvette, stopping across from her. So, what can I get you? We got a special on chai, though the blueberry muffins are delicious today. Oh, I just wanted to wait for the bus. I can leave if it's a problem. Don't worry, sit as long as you want, the girl said. What are you waiting for? I'm waiting for the bus. Oh, well, you're gonna be here for a while. Let me know if you change your mind. This could use with an explanation, like, she already says she's waiting for the bus. So, I'd say no, silly. Like, what are you going to the bus for? Are you going home? Are you done shopping? You know, try to spark up a conversation. And then you can tell that, like, she wants something to do with it. She's like, alright, okay, well, you know, if you change your mind, let me know if you need anything. I'll be in the back. But just adding that extra little quip there of her being like, not the bus, silly. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you going to another shopping center? You know, she's trying to spark a conversation, but Evite is like, nope. Not having any of it. I'm out. Peace. Don't talk to me, please. Yvette scratches at the paper bag. In her hands is the waitress a small mole on her lower cheek, her pierced eyebrow, and multiple rings in her ear, as well as the way her pants hug the shape of her thighs as she retreats.
Has anyone ever given you a cold lunch version 5 before?
I don't think so, Maiku Cheese Harry. I don't know what that is, but I'm guessing it's very sexual. And maybe someone has. I've done a lot of fucked up things, so maybe I just don't know what it's called. There's a high possibility of that.
The simple sexual act of forcing yourself to throw up into another person's mouth, usually in the result of the other person eating it.
Ew. 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 Ugh. Ew. Ugh. Jesus. I don't even want to know how you know that, Mike. I don't want to know how you know that. We're just going to pretend that I don't know that either. we back? We back from ads, guys? We back! Alright. All conspire to flush Yvette's cheeks, darting her gaze around. Yvette quickly pulls out her phone. The red in her cheeks quickly dissipates as the phone alerts her to several messages labeled Roxy that still remain unread. Dull ring of a cup on a plate that the waitress puts down in front of Yvette. And the aroma that the liquid exude pulls Yvette's gaze away from the phone. "Since you're gonna be here a while, mind if I sit with you?" says the girl. I don't mind at all, I'm sorry. I can't afford this right now," responds Yvette, trying to bury her face in the air in front of her. "It's on the house, dude. Consider it a free sample," states Jane, extending her hand. Maybe introduce her, Jane, saying by name,
From
coming out of
Facebook and the
nowhere.
Urban Dictionary.
Do you just go out of your way to find that kind of stuff? So I'd like introduce her and be like, "Hi, my name's Jane. Can I sit with you?" So you actually get the name in the conversation. And then start calling her Jane, because it feels weird that the main character doesn't know that her name's Jane, but we do. Extending her hand towards Yvette, Jane's fingers and the black acrylic nails attached to them clasp Yvette's feeble hand. "I'm Yvette. Yvette Modesto," she responds, with her voice as feeble as her handshake, but with a smile that invites Jane to slide into the chair across from her. Jane places her cup of tea on the table, a spoon loudly clanking against the porcelain cup and saucer, wafting away a gnat. Not all of the time, it's just on my For You page. Damn, man, what are you looking up, bro? That probably says more. That's probably actually worse that it's on your For You page. Spoon loudly clanking against the porcelain cup and saucer, wafting away a gnat attempting to land on the brim. I really like your shop. The Aztec death whistles look really neat," says Yvette. "Those whistles that scream at you? Jacob bought them a few months ago. He owns the shop. But now he wants me to sell them to everyone. Can you believe that? Like, bro, Halloween is over, you know? So how am I? So now I'm the one who has to push them." As Jane continues to inform Yvette of the inconvenience of working in her brother's store, Yvette's eyes move from Jane's brow. Again, state that it's her brother before you say something like that, so it comes from the dialogue as opposed to being abrupt like that. Yvette's eyes move from Jane's brown eyes to a small mole on the side of her cheek, then over to a small necklace that hangs just above the cut of her shirt. Feeling her heart beating slightly faster, her gaze wanders back to Jane's black hair. Jane's hair starts to curl at the tips, and with the shine that reflects the shop's light in white bands, make Yvette bring her tea up to her mouth and sip without blinking. "Why are you looking at me like that?" asked Jane, interrupting her tirade about a life in the shop while again wafting away the minuscule fly from her tea. "Did I smudge my makeup or something?" "No, you look beautiful. I mean, you look great. I was just wondering if you guys were hiring maybe, or if I can leave an application just in case." As she says this, Yvette pulls out a copy of her resume, handing thick textured paper to Jane. Jane tucks her hair behind her ear as she begins reading the contents of the paper Yvette hands her. Jane turns towards the back of the shop. "Hey, Jacob, I'm going to interview this girl." Yvette leans back in her chair and grips the hand rest at the unexpected volume of Jane's voice. From the rear, in a faint, muffled voice, the words "sure, whatever" emanates. As Jane's eyes focus on the flight path of the gnat that is attempting to steal sips of her tea. She asks, "Guess I'll start with what's your biggest weakness?" "Oh, I think maybe I'm too neat. Being organized is a weakness." I mean, it can be if you..." The gnat finally lands on the muffin crumb that had remained after Jane's supposed thorough cleaning of that table from the previous patron. In a fluid swipe, Jane brings her hand down on top of it. The sound of her hand slamming onto the table echoes through the shop and conjures to Yvette's mind the words, "Open the damn door." Color from Yvette's cheeks flee her face as her gaze drops to her lap, where she holds her folder and harmonicas. Tears begin dotting the items. Damn, Fly. Anyway, you were saying you're too neat? Jane continues, cleaning her hand with a paper towel. I can't. I have to go. I'm sorry. I can't do this, says Yvette. She jumps out of her chair, dropping her paper bag as she strides to the exit. What? Why? What's wrong? Hey, wait. You dropped your... Jane says, attempting to get out of her own chair, but being held in place as the chair's curled wire armrest hooks onto her coat pocket. With a ding from the bell's entrance's bell, Yvette disappears into January's bitter, gray, cold air, leaving before Jane manages to disengage the chair. What's super fucked about this, Hugo, is I'm like, why is she acting like this? Why is she acting like this? This is exactly how I would be. Like, yeah, no, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. You know, I can't do this. Fuck people. Fuck shit. Nope. I'm like, that's why I don't like it, because it reminds me of me. My little bitch ass. Yeah, mine isn't trauma. Mine's just me being shy. I'm just like, I don't know, I have like hypochondria of like social situations where I just imagine people, I mean, when I was a kid, like I used to, right? I just imagine people like I'm not worth being their friend or some shit like that. Some stupid fucked up shit that's like, dude, stop being a little fucking bitch, pull your head out of your ass and be a fucking man. Also made sure Jane asked the question Yvette practiced on the bus ride over. Yeah. It's like, even with all of that, you still can't bring yourself to it, right? And it's like, it's a very powerful reaction. And especially if you're someone like me, to the reader, who doesn't have any trauma, but is just super shy and totally understands, so couldn't imagine if you would add trauma on top of that. Holy fuck, dude. I could not imagine. I could not imagine. My trauma is like... I don't know, something like as simple as, oh, my friend's done playing with me and he goes and plays with my brother, and then I'm like, wait, fuck. And then the next thing you know, I'm fucking, yep, little baby bitch. Warm air in the bus attempts to comfort Yvette, but she sits sideways in the purple chair. Some springs dig through the cushion and into her thighs. With her arms wrapped around her knees and her face buried into them, she trembles and gasps with each silent sob. Roxanne was right. I can't do this. I couldn't even answer a simple question. To be fair, Jane freaked her out by smacking the table, right? So, that was definitely the final straw. She was already at you know, her limit, and then it was like, nope. Pack my stuff and call Mom and go home. Bus squeals to a stop as the driver announces Autumn Street, signaling Yvette stop. Being the only bus rider to stand, Yvette whimpers to the door. Snow falls, swirls around her as she walks, creeping under her cape, forcing her to shiver through her tears. Finally, Yvette braves the dim light and frigid air of her complex till she enters her sparse apartment. The weight of her body slows her steps as she moves through her apartment. Yvette brings her hand up to her brow and slides it down her face, pulling down each of her features. It's just a tap on the table, she tells herself. What possessed you to run? You only had to answer a few questions. She momentarily looks at her refrigerator and then her stove, and then down to her gut. She heads to her bedroom rather than preparing herself a meal. At 2:34 p.m., Yvette slops into her bed that beckons her to give up. Laying in her bed, she once again floods her pillow with tears. She grabs her phone and begins scrolling through the myriad of texts Roxanne sent her. Roxanne crafted each message to convince Yvette to return, or to at least divulge her location. The messages rang from "I'm sorry, baby," and "I won't do it again," to "You're stupid for leaving," and "You think I need you? You need me." Yvette then swipes away the messages to a photo they took 6 months prior. Yvette stands next to Roxanne, resting her head on Roxanne's shoulder as Roxanne's fiery red hair wraps around her. The pair lean against the boardwalk's railing. The sky and sea expand behind them, their division indiscernible except for a large puffy Columbus. Oh, I can never say that. Cumulus cloud that floats along the horizon. "Said you loved me," Yvette says, her voice trembling. "Why weren't you better?" She cradles her photo, weeping herself to sleep. The occult tea shop vibrates with magic as soft light streams in. Jane sits at a table sipping tea while volumes of hair curl and cascade down her shoulder. Yvette's heart jackhammers her forward towards Jane. With a smile, Jane sets down her teacup and walks to Yvette, untidying the only knot holding Yvette's dress to her body. But Yvette manages to catch the cloth before it completely exposes her. Jane's warm breath, with hints of mint and honey, whispers, "Don't run away, please." She then takes Yvette's hand and permits her to allow a garment to fall. Jane presses her black lips against Yvette's pink ones, reaches down and around her, and pulls Yvette's hips towards her. Yvette's eyes open in her bed, in her apartment. The flush of her cheeks and pace of her breath remind Yvette of how quickly she rushed away from the tea shop the prior day. Taking her phone in her hand, she opens her message app, ignoring the plethora of unread messages from Roxy. Yvette pulls up her mom's name and begins tapping. "Mom, I'm going home tomorrow. I'll call you before I leave." Reviewing the message twice before hitting send, she lowers the phone to her lap, looking at the ceiling and breathing in. She brings the phone up. As her thumb reluctantly moves to send a message, the phone begins to vibrate and display a local number calling her, which causes Yvette to juggle her phone in the air after nearly throwing it to the floor. She manages to answer before the call goes to her voicemail. Hello?" answers Yvette, ready to hang up should Roxanne's voice sound through. "Hello, is this Miss Yvette, Modestro?" Interrogates a commanding female voice. "Yes, this is her. Who is this?" "First of all, thank you for taking the time to interview with us. I reviewed your application and would like to offer you a job. When would you be available to start?" "An interview? A job? What? I only applied at the Crosses and the lady hated me." Wonders Yvette, answering. "Is tomorrow okay?" "Tomorrow works. Be there at 6 a.m. sharp. Wear something appropriate and comfortable and bring your documents to register you. Jane Allen will be training you in the morning, and Jacob Soother will take your information." "Wait, the occult tea place?" "That's correct. We'll be well prepared. Have a nice evening," commands the lady's voice. Click of the phone tells Yvette to lower her phone, leaving Yvette sitting on her bed staring at her bathroom entrance. With feverish fervor, Yvette erases the previous message and taps out, "Ma, I got a job. Can I please have money to buy work clothes?" She then gets out of bed and begins organizing everything as if the neatness of her apartment impacted the state of her new employment. As she tosses her used socks into her hamper, her phone buzzes with a message. "I'm so happy, Misha. I'll send you money. Ahurita." Yvette inspects the shop from where she stands. She first pulls to the side the beads covering the doorway from which Jane emerged the day prior. She finds a white painted board running from wall to wall being used as a retrofitted desk. Right now in Spanish. Ah, okay. I figured something like that. She finds a white painted board running from wall to wall being used as a retrofitted desk. A laptop sits on it, a neat stack of papers to one side, a desk lamp on the other. Copy of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People positioned under the lamp's shade. Above the laptop, hanging on the wall, hangs a framed photo of a young man with hair so blonde it nears white, holding a short, curly-haired, olive-toned skin. A blanket with an imprint of Sephiroth drapes over a swirled chair. A civil... I'm guessing this is like a religious thing? Sephiroth? Is that like a mural from a religion? Imprint of the Sephiroth drapes over a swivel chair. However, the Yvette finds the office lacks rags or any cleaning supplies. Restroom's odor offends Yvette's nose as she explores it. It's the Tree of Life. Oh, cool. Okay. Restroom's odor offends Yvette's nose as she explores it. Behind a wooden sliding door within the restroom, she finds the needed items, breathing in bursts. As little as possible, Yvette throws a rag, a spray bottle, and a bottle of cleaner into a mop bucket, then jogs out of the restroom. Setting the bucket near the restroom's door, she returns and places a lit, scented candle. Yeah, that's not the bottom part. I don't think I've ever seen the bottom part, but yeah, this was what I was imagining, right? I love it. It looks fucking sick. I've never seen like the feathers at the bottom, but that would be like the top of the tree, right? Because it's inverted, right? So those are the roots, and those are the leaves. Shit. Palm leaves, yeah. This is supposed to be a palm tree. Vet throws a rag, a spray bottle, and a bottle of cleaner into a mop bucket, then jogs out of the restroom, setting the bucket near the restroom's door. She returns and places a little scented candle on the counter, and creates and leaves the extractor running. Vet annihilates the small stains plaguing the tables. Each of the 6 tables receive a soothed treatment of a few quick spurts of cleaning agent, and a quick wiping from the rag Yvette wields. The focus and vigor of moving from table to table, chair to chair, cause Yvette to ignore the 2 alerts her phone receives. Since Jane still remains on her bakery excursion, and having tackled the goal of cleaning the tables, Yvette tackles the olfactory pearl in the restroom. The scented candle fought a valiant battle against the odor haunting the restroom. Spelling the vile aroma by pouring a trickle of bleach down the sink's drain gives Iveen enough constitution to clean and disinfect the remaining restroom using a mop and broom she found earlier in the washroom closet. As Yvette washes her hands, she hears the jiggle of the bell announcing someone's entrance into the shop. There's so much I don't remember writing for some reason. Yup, that's how it goes, Hugo. It's like, man, I don't remember that at all. She wipes her hands dry with a paper towel with grit on par with pound sandpaper. She feels the paper between her fingers and flashes of a tea kettle she hasn't been trained to use flashes in her head. Though when she exits the restroom, she views Jane placing a large white cardboard box filled with sweet pastries. Jane, I finished cleaning the restroom, says Yvette. You survived in there? The smell is rank. Yeah, I have some ideas about stuff. Do you mind if I rearrange some items in the store? No, I don't care if Jacob don't care, but you need to get ready for the first morning rush. Oh, okay, what do we do? We make tea, dude. Just dip the leaves in hot water and hand it to the customer. Responds Jane as she begins placing the pastries in rows inside a clear plastic bread holder. Fuck, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry right now. I'm like, I want some fucking pastries. Fuck this shit. Iveen stands there looking at the floor with her feet planted on the ground, hiding her eyes behind her bangs. The silence, the lack of a snide remark, and the missing pushback from Ivy causes Jane to look up at her. With a frown, she elaborates. Look, brewing the tea ain't hard. You seem like a bright girl, but some of the customers act stupid sometimes. Someone tries to hassle you. I'll back you up. Yvette nods and whispers, thanks. Could you lean a little bit down more when you... Now it will allow me to vividly describe food. Oh, man. No, I need to go make some food. I'm fucking starving. Oh. That nods and whispers, thanks. That walks to the first set of misplaced items, but just as Jane warned, a rush of customers passed through the street en route to Littleport's business center, botch her planned organization. Hi, fucking starving. I'm Hugo. Hi, Hugo. My dad was an asshole, okay, and my mom died in birth. So blame my dad. He was definitely drunk when he named me. It's like, so I have this funny story. My friend, his mom, works in a maternity ward, and one of the things she does is, like, she hands paperwork and stuff. So, like, she hands, like, birth certificate paperwork and stuff to people. So it's like, hand over to the parent, here, fill out the paperwork. And then they'll hand it back to her, and in areas such as the name of the child, they'll be like, A, B, C, D, E, F. Or like, no name. Or like, what was another really good one? John right now. Dr. Doofenschmitz. He was so neglected his parents didn't even show up for his birth. Oh, so true, so true.